We have automated factories, global supply chains, and artificial intelligence, yet the average citizen is still stuck running on a treadmill. Despite a century of massive technological progress, we remain locked into a 40-plus hour workweek just to keep our heads above water. The math behind this grind comes down to two persistent mechanics in the modern economy: compounding interest and rentier extraction. Every time money changes hands through a loan, a mortgage, or a rental agreement, a percentage of that transaction is siphoned off to service debt. Over a lifetime, individuals are forced into a permanent hustle to pay off the accumulating interest on basic necessities like housing. Meanwhile, the capital they generate steadily flows upward, indefinitely pooling in the accounts of those who hold the debt. This exhaustion is the result of a mathematically engineered mechanism designed to extract human energy rather than foster genuine creation. To break that cycle, we can look to a conceptual startup nation called Solus. Built on the design philosophy of regenerative futurism, Solus operates as a reactionary thought experiment that neutralizes fiat extraction through two strict laws: a total prohibition on interest loops and a strict limit of one primary home per citizen. By legally engineering financial friction and speculative hoarding out of the system, Solus prevents wealth from stagnating. The economy relies entirely on continuous circulation, ensuring that human attention, not money, becomes society's ultimate currency. When you look at this interface from the Solus app, you are seeing Pulse, the digital high-velocity currency of the nation. Below that geometric line sits the protected buffer, a guaranteed baseline equal to 12 months of living expenses. This baseline isn't a static number. An AI dynamically calculates the exact cost of living based on real-world conditions and family size. Any pulse held within this buffer is permanently shielded from all fees, deductions, or recirculation mechanics. Establishing an absolute financial floor removes the immediate threat of ruin, shifting the population from survival mode into a focus on creation. But capital only works if it moves. Any stagnant pulse hoarded above that 12-month protected buffer is subject to progressive demurrage, a nominal fee ranging from 1 to 3%. It is crucial to understand what this mechanism actually does. Demurrage in Solus is never a tax, it is not a penalty, and it does not involve the deletion of wealth from the economy. Instead, this ledger visualizes a kinetic energy transfer. Excess capital is transparently recirculated into public infrastructure via the National Common Pool. It flows rapidly into this split grid, where citizens use the Solus app to route 50% directly to local projects. The remaining 50% of the common pool is allocated to macro government infrastructure. Because wealth hoarding is capped mathematically, capital cannot be trapped at the top. This continuous economic motion safeguards against stagnation and systemic inequality. To manage this without creating bureaucratic bloat, Solus divides power through a leadership triad that separates data from morality. This copper and white emblem represents the AI guardian. It serves as the technological nervous system of Solus, handling all mathematical forecasting, risk simulation, and resource logic. However, the AI holds absolutely zero policymaking power. The actual decisions are made by the apostles, minimalist human leaders wearing utilitarian attire. They dedicate their lives to moral philosophy, applying human empathy to interpret pure data and provide final approval on national projects. By isolating technical forecasting in a machine and placing wealth-neutral ethics in the hands of leaders who forego personal fortunes, the system removes the traditional incentives for lobbyist capture and administrative bloat. The macroeconomic result of this demurrage engine is explosive velocity. Because hoarding incurs a fee, citizens are incentivized to spend or invest their unspent pulse. As a result, capital in Solus moves 10 to 14 times faster than in traditional fiat economies. This hypervelocity directly funds the Reserve Bank of Solus, allowing it to issue zero-interest, flat-fee mortgages. By removing compounding interest from the equation, housing is redefined as a basic, accessible utility rather than a speculative asset. The impact on daily life is immediate. Without the massive burden of servicing compounding bank interest, citizens require far less income to maintain a high quality of life. The standard societal expectation drops naturally to a 20 to 25-hour workweek. Ending debt servitude allows nationwide reserves of human time and energy to be redirected from survival to innovation. Citizens reinvest that freed time into what Solus calls the competence loop. They engage in deep creation, community building, and tending to high-abundance microfarms like this one, maximizing nutrient density and agricultural independence. This shift physically shapes the nation's landscape. The resulting society is space-efficient and vibrant, blending matte composite architecture, integrated solar microgrids, and sweeping green commons into everyday infrastructure. It proves the nation's core principle: where attention goes, energy flows. By removing the mechanism for wealth extraction, the nation accelerates its transition toward a post-scarcity model.